opportunities on multiple occasions to put yourself in a situation to go after the chip and instead elected to go after the money. To that you say
With
what?
who though? Who was my options?
Well, again,
The Miami situation, that was just an idea, right? That wasn't even, that was just an idea stages, right? And I was about to sign shortly after that conversation, right? The New York Knicks situation, I was going to Chicago. Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, I was there, right? I was there. And then I started getting whispers behind the scenes. Yo, look, this person ain't gonna be there. It ain't really right. This and that. And it was all of that started to come up in the midst of my decision making. I wasn't gonna let anything cloud that. I met with New York last. They was the last team I met with because I knew that I was ready to move on from that situation because of what I was dealing with and going through in New York. After that, I met with New York, the last meeting, and said, tell me what you're gonna do for the organization, for us to put a team together to go compete and try to win. I got that
What is good? BALLCONTROL. Bob Trump, I'm your DJ, and we are back talking about the NBA. And we got some interesting stuff that happened recently involving Carmelo Anthony and him being on the show First Take. As many of you know, First Take is obviously a talk show. You know, they talk about sports, whether it's basketball, boxing, football, all that stuff. So, you know, they have, you know, pretty solid people on there, like Stephen A. Smith. Max Kellerman could be a little bit iffy. Stephen A. could be iffy as well. But for the most part, you know, they're a successful talk show and all that stuff. But that's beside the point. They hosted Carmelo Anthony today. I want to say, yeah, it was today. And, yeah, I watched the interview before I made this video. And I basically just want to dive into some of the main stuff that Melo pretty much talked about in this interview that he had with Stephen A. Smith. Now, first things first, he talked about his time in Houston and Oklahoma and how basically communication was a huge issue between him and the front office. And I feel like that really was swept under the rug a lot. And if Melo pretty much didn't say anything, a lot of these things wouldn't have obviously came out. And I feel like it was good that Carmelo Anthony said that because we all know the NBA, even the NFL, how the disconnect sometimes between management and players could be, you know, pretty toxic and pretty bad. And it sends the wrong messages sometimes around the league. And, you know, it's not good. You had it with DeMar DeRozan verbally getting commitment from the Toronto Raptors. Next minute, he got traded. Now, me personally, I don't feel bad for players like that. Because at the end of the day, you're in the league. You're getting paid millions. Now, yes, you want communication to be key. I get that. But when you join the NBA and you join the NFL, you got to expect either you're getting traded the next day. You know what I'm saying? Not every day is on. Like Tom Brady said in the interview, everybody's living off of day-to-day when it comes to playing on the team. You're day-to-day. You're not promised the next day on the team. You're not promised the next year on the team. So I feel like you got to live every day expecting something to happen, whether you get released, whether you get a major injury that derailed your whole career, whether you get traded. So I feel like players that come out and complain about how they got a verbal commitment from management and then they got traded the next day or got released. I mean, you got to expect that coming into the league. So I feel like, you know, it is what it is. You can't really complain about it. You signed up for it when you decide to go to the NBA or the NFL. So you gotta expect those things coming. And as far as Carmelo Anthony, yeah, it's kind of messed up, you know, with him in this situation. Like, he said it in an interview, you know, Oklahoma, you know, they told him that he was really the fourth option. A lot of you guys didn't know that. Everybody thought he was the third. Nah, he was the fourth. And he said that throughout the time they wanted him to go on the bench, but he didn't really explain it. Well, not him, but they didn't really explain it. The front office didn't really tell him, we want you to come off the bench. So, they should have told him they wanted him to come off the bench. Otherwise, the situation would have been completely different. So that's pretty much his words summed up. But yeah, now with Houston, we pretty much know the fact that he wanted to figure out what was his role on the team. He wanted to go to Daryl Morey, but Daryl Morey didn't want to communicate with him until Daryl Morey decided to go to him about, you're getting released. Another miscommunication by another front office. So I feel like it's a bit of a trend in the league, like this misconception of Carmelo Anthony. It's kind of messed up because a lot of people don't know, but Melo had a better rookie year than LeBron James. He should have won Rookie of the Year that year, but it is what it is. And he took his teams to the playoffs. Now, granted, he didn't go far. Now, is Melo perfect? Of course not. But there's some things Melo could have done that could have either kept him on the NBA roster currently. He could have played better on defense. That's mainly the issue with me. He's just awful on defense. And that's why a lot of teams are hesitant to sign him. On top of that, the misconception going around the NBA thinking that he doesn't have the work ethic. All he wants is the money. And speaking of just the money, now he could have went to Chicago. We all know this. We all know he could have went to the Bulls. He even said in the interview that he was that close to signing with the Bulls. He was that close to signing with Chicago. But supposedly it was a lot of whispers and a lot of...
Dang stays right with him. Anthony on the follow. Great defense, but better offense that time. Anthony goes right at Boozer. Counted and a foul. 21 first half points for Carmelo Anthony. And efficient points as well. He's 8 for 13.
Boozer giving ground. Doesn't have the same shot blocking ability
that's my whole problem. I feel like
Anthony really faked the pull-up, puts it in. Nice extra pass. An extra dribble for Anthony. Anthony gets past Boozer. Wild pass to Smith. J.R. Smith connects on a three. Knicks have not been hitting from downtown this afternoon except for Anthony.
I don't buy that excuse.
Anthony knocks it down. That's his second field goal here in the third quarter. Anthony gets inside, triple team, and gets it to go. How did that shot go in? It almost looked like it was below the rim as it was approaching it. Boozer did a good job of neutralizing Steve.
You knew the Bulls already had Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson already in place. The Knicks ain't had nothing in place. So I think he was, BSing on that. But yeah, that's pretty much my thing on the Carmelo Anthony whole situation, the interview. That's my reaction to it. And what do you guys think? If you watched the interview, what did you think? You think Carmelo Anthony was telling the truth? I think Melo was telling the truth throughout most of this interview. This was the realest interview I probably saw in a minute. So yeah, comment down below. You think Melo would join the team as well? Yeah, make sure y'all follow the Instagram page of this channel. I'm gonna place it on the screen. Y'all make sure y'all go follow the IG page. It's up and running. I'm about to start posting a lot of stuff on there, especially when videos about to drop. Y'all get a head start on when a video about to drop or what video I'm making. So you guys make sure y'all follow that. But if you're new, hit that sub button and go follow the IG page. Remember, this channel finna go large. If you like basketball, period, whether it's, me uploading NBA players clips, them talking on Instagram, you like that stuff, you like IRL basketball, you like the NBA, you like me talking about the NBA, you like 2K, you like anything related to basketball. Anything related to the NBA or just basketball, period, you just subscribe right now. This channel is gonna have all of it. But yeah, salute to everybody at home, salute to everybody watching the video. I'm your host, DJ, I'm out. Peace.